Second half just about to get underway. Referee Richard Silverwood gets us underway, and the size of the task facing the Giants. This is only their second playoff game in Super League. Their opponent Saints playing their 28th game at this level. Just shows the amount of experience there is in the Saints camp when it comes to these what can be nail-biting contests. Saints have won their last 3 home playoff games, and on each occasion they earned a grand final appearance straight away. Well, it's a bit different this season with the new top 8 format. A bit more work to do for them, but looking to get off to a winning start in their playoff campaign this year, Saints, and at the moment ahead by 14 points to 2.
And Mick Potter will be saying, just keep on doing exactly what you've done in that first half. Defensively, you were very strong, you were very hungry, and you worked for your teammates when they had the ball. Nathan Brown will be saying, you've still got 40 minutes, don't panic, just try and build a bit of pressure and try and control the speed of the ruck.
And I'll tell you what Huddersfield might have mentioned, Kyle Eastman, who's been very influential for Saints in that first half. Let's give him a bit of defending. When Stephen Wild come up with that chance, I think it was Kyle Eastman who was involved in that play. Very small, diminutive player. His speed and agility is a strength when he's got the ball. Could be a disadvantage when he's tackling bigger men.
The Giants throwing caution to the wind there and almost throwing the ball out of play. Wild having to retreat to pick it up for his side. So they've actually lost a bit of ground there.
And sometimes it's just got to take the direct route like Griffin did then. Grind down them yards, down the middle of the park, and then back yourself in defence.
Robinson's kick is out on the full. And Luke Robinson looks at the ground in disgust at that.
And there you go again, putting themselves under pressure with the offloads, trying to go around St Helens instead of go through them. Luke Robinson kicking the ball on it from on his heels. They've got to really improve the speed of their play of the ball come the back end of the set.
Paul Clough put a lot of pressure on Robinson then. Let's give credit where it's due. They've done that throughout the game, not allowing Huddersfield to put this ball where they want. They've rushed and hurried each kicker for Huddersfield tonight.
Here is Puliatua, and Puliatua again with a good strong run for Saints. And they're looking to build on the back of that. Long short pass infield to Paul Wellens. Wellens cut down by Lawrence. Leon Price now. Price. Wilkin with the kick. Melly chasing it, too strong.
John Wilkin's got a bag of tricks. Leon Price takes the ball to the line. You can see John Wilkin, he just takes a couple and it's oof. There's not much in that for Melly. John Wilkin, real talented player for St Helens.
I think Sean McCraney's half-time analysis was spot on. Here we see how compressed Cudjoe is, leaving that big gap. And if that was a metre to the right, then Melly's in. But Sean McCray said at half-time, I think Huddersfield need to score first. Otherwise, this could be a landslide for St Helens.
Well, Saints now looking to make sure that the Giants don't get a sniff of their try line. Really putting the pressure on and up very quickly in the faces of the Giants players, so they look to get the ball wide, but Fatawira is cut down.
Go! Keep that knee out, Sean.
Lawrence and Sean Long very quickly in to make the tackle. Matt Gidley in there as well, and a sign of the times maybe. Matt Gidley, the only Saints player in the Super League Dream Team announced this week. 2 Giants players in there, in Brett Hodgson and Scott Moore, and just shows how the Giants have come on, but still finding that this Saints team is a hard nut to crack, especially when it comes to the playoffs. Lunt's kick, too strong all the way down the field.
That was a better set of 6 from Huddersfield. Very quick, very tight, but very quick. I've no doubt that Sean Lunt knew exactly where he wanted to kick that ball. There's that tactic we keep mentioning on TV, kicking the ball dead, just to slow the game down.
They've got to make sure they don't concede any penalties. Oh, that's a stray pass, and Hargreaves couldn't get a hold of it. Leon Price, fortunately for Saints, reacted quickly enough. Here is Paul Clough now, as mentioned, ever present in all 31 this season, a phenomenal record. Played in all the big games, playing in the big one this evening, which Saints are leading by 14 points to 2. But early in the second half, the Giants by no means out of this one. By no means out of it if they lose, of course, because they get another opportunity next week. Flannery now.
Pass.
Lawrence with the tackle.
Go.
And Long. And he was looking to drift that one across the field, but
Be careful showing like that.
shanked it. Is that the golf term? And Mick Potter just sending a few instructions down.
Just too much weight on that kick from Sean Long. But again, it's what Huddersfield can do. They really do need to go straight up that channel. They need to challenge St Helens more. They need to push up with Earl Crabtree.
I'm really impressed with Saints and how they're controlling Huddersfield. As soon as they hit the ground, they've got them in tight clinches and sometimes making the Huddersfield player head towards his own try line, buying that extra second. Just watch how slowly Huddersfield play this ball.
Griffin now, 4 tackles gone. Wrestling his way from the ground. Robinson, ball back in field to Brett Hodgson, but Super League opponents have seen that move work so many times this season. They're wise to it. So Robinson hoists the kick, ball patted back, it went forward in fact. Fulton was there, but it had drifted forward. Richard Silverwood was right in line with that.
Well, it's Simon Finnegan or Stephen Wilder who gets up. He tries to pass it back. Richard Silverwood straight on the mark there. Said no, that ball went forward. But at least they're starting to make a contest of it. If the ball goes high in the air, don't stand back. Put pressure on your opposition. Here you can see Stephen Wilder pats it back. Just goes a touch forward and Richard Silverwood in the right place.
He's onside.
Here's Wilkin. Wilkin tackled by Liam Fulton. Fulton only got the gig at the Giants really because the Todd Carney deal broke down. What a season he's turned out to have. Will only be this season. Just here for the rest of the campaign as Price with the run. That's the 5th tackle for Saints in this set of 6, and it's Wilkin who'll put the kick in. Again, looking for the corner. Hodgson is there. Hodgson takes the ball, gets Eastman as well.
Superb take from Brett Hodgson. He knew that he had oncoming chase and knew that he had to be brave and secure that ball. Very vital player for Huddersfield. Perhaps not seen too much of him yet tonight, but I don't expect that to be the case for the next 30 minutes or so.
Robinson. Here is Andy Raleigh now. Raleigh back to fitness after overcoming an Achilles problem. The Giants pinned down in their own half. That's the 5th tackle as Hodgson plays the ball. Robinson, and again the pressure very quickly on him from Paul Clough it was that time, and the kick not a strong one into the arms of Gardner. Gardner finds Wellens, and Wellens bumps off the first tackler.
Well, again, you've got to credit St Helens' defence. Because they work so hard down in Huddersfield's half, they get the ball in real good field position.
Long now. Clough once more. 3 tackles gone just inside the Giants' half.
Keep that knee out, Darryl.
Long.
Keep the knee out.
Wilkin hit that ball at pace, but then hit the tackle at pace as well.
Huddersfield are riding the luck at the play of the ball. I mentioned how Saints were controlling it. Huddersfield trying to do the same. Sailing very close to the wind.
Long, that's a better kick from him. Hodgson is under pressure. Hodgson has lost the ball. And it'll be a goal line dropout first of the game.
And again, St Helens, you can see Sean Long. He just looks up, he sees where the ball's going to go. He tries to put it under pressure. And you can see that Gardner just comes up and they just put all kinds of pressure on the David Hodgson.
Stay on. Right. Come on.
So as long as St Helens can keep the Giants down this end of the field, then the risk of them conceding is minimised. Just the points on the board from a penalty goal for the Giants so far.
What Huddersfield can't afford to do is double up their efforts in defence. Saints only need a sniff of that try line.
Roby, Long now. Long, Price, Eastman now. Eastman skips away from the Leroy Cudjoe tackle, tries to duck under the next one, but Griffin is there to make it. So too is Finnegan. Graham now. James Graham, Sean Long. Long little kick over the top. Gardner. Magnificent. If it counts.
I think he's knocked this ball on.
Tackle 3.
Did he catch it on the half volley, Aidy Gardner?
They've used this tactic a few times tonight. Very tight in defence. You see David Hodgson, he's at the bottom of your screen. Is everybody onside? You'd have to say, looking at those pictures. I know we've got Gardner just outside on the right. Difficult to see from that angle. Gardner will just come into play now. I'd say he's onside. Whether he catches it or not, no. This is no try. Clear knock on from Gardner. But I think you'll see that tactic a few times yet. Ian Smith, the video referee, just being doubly sure.
Gardner claiming his 15th try of the season, hoping for his 15th try of the season, but surely not to be allowed by video ref Ian Smith. And A.D. Gardner having a meagre season by his try-scoring standards, was Super League's top try-scorer in all regular rounds last season with 26. He's still stuck on 14 after that disallowed decision.
St Helens is so dangerous. When Sean Long gets the ball, he goes to the line, and you can see that Gardner just loses it there. But when Sean Long gets the ball, he takes it to the line, he pulls up the defenders out wide. David Hodgson wasn't there. Lucky for Huddersfield, that was no try. And a mistake by Gardner.
We've seen that work so many times for Saints. But Huddersfield breathe a sigh of relief at that decision.
Let's just watch the ruck control here from Saints. This is where I feel they're winning the game. Slowing it right down. Not allowing Huddersfield to get that momentum and roll on.
Lunt again, making progress. He's had a great season as Sean Lunt, signed him from Workington Town, and he's made the transition really comfortably.
There's no substitute for speed, Bill, and that's what Sean Lunt has got in abundance. Doesn't need a second invitation to pick up and run.
Outside.
And it's his kick that sails downfield into the arms of A.D. Gardner. And it's a good chase from the Giants, but look at that from Gardner. Good strong return from the winger.
He's amazing how strong he is on his kick returns, Gardner. But again, simple plays just around the ruck from Huddersfield. Taking the ball forward, kicking on the front foot. That's what they need more of, and they need more of controlling the play the ball from St Helens. Again, James Graham, he's going to ramp up now.
14-2, still the scoreline here. And the Giants managing to keep Saints at bay since conceding those tries from Fulyatua, Melly and Price in the first half.
Huddersfield need to be the next team to score. They're just hanging on by the skin of the teeth here. As the kick comes in from Saints, what can they do here now? Oh, beautiful kick.
Do you think he was aiming at the post?
Do you think he went for it from back there?
Yes, I do.
Hodgson was thinking that was going to sail out of play, but it's just cannoned off the post cover there.
Kickers practice for hours and hours on end, and they know which spot they want to land it in. And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. I reckon he went for that.
3 tackles gone, and the Giants once more really struggling to make progress against this oppressive Saints defence. It's like a thick fog descending on them. Sculthorpe now.
But Bill, it's all about persistence. Just because it doesn't work when you go forward in a set of 6, you've got to keep at something.
Go, Gary! Don't be grabbing him.
Hodgson. Chip ahead from Brett Hodgson, and Hodgson regathers on the last though, and desperate offload, and it ends up in the hands of Paul Wellens.
Sorry, Bill, I interrupted you there. I saw Sean Long point at Kyle Eastman. I think he's going to get a bit of attention when Huddersfield settle down. Just a nice little dink across there. Brett Hodgson gets his arm free, but unfortunately,
Gidley, who made the tackle.
Matt Gidley, prevented him from getting it to a Huddersfield teammate.
Graham now. Good run preceding that from John Wilkin. If he's got this knee problem, then he's really doing well to play through it. Stray pass from Sean Long, but Flannery has time to gather it. Ducks and Drakes with Fatawira. Gardner Here is Long now. Again, the Giants very quickly up.
Yes.
That's the 5th tackle as
Sean Long drop
plays
goal.
the ball. Long shapes to kick, still does, and skims across the turf. It's getting lower.
It's a goal.
He's been watching too much Aussie rules.
First. Move,
He'd get a
James.
job for Oldham Athletic there.
Go.
Hodgson.
Sean Long, he's been around the blocks. He knows that this game could end up being very, very tight. And all the points are just as vital as one another. Like I said, he took 2 or 3 attempts. Incidentally, he got them all over before the game. He might have wasted all his good ones.
Robinson, problems for Saints. Matt Gidley off the field at the moment. He's gone up the tunnel for treatment. And here come the Giants with Wild.
Hold him, hold. Go.
Well, Miss Matt Gidley, really solid performer for them this season. And that's a high kick from Hodgson. Wellens is under it. Takes it as he's falling and then manages to return it a good few yards as well.
He doesn't feel the pressure whatsoever, Paul Wellens. And that's better defence. Jackson really putting his body on the line there.
Hold. Go.
This is where they really have got to ramp up now. They've got to stay in control and stay focused on the job in hand.
They can't afford to give, again, double up in efforts in defence. They can't afford to be penalised. Squeaky clean.
The ball's been lost by Puliatua. It went backwards. The referee says play on to Saints. It's Leon Price who pounced on it. Graham now. There's some sting in this Huddersfield Giants tackling. There was there from Paul Jackson. Now the Saints get it wide. Flannery, who was being treated for a knock just a few moments ago, puts the kick in, but it's clutched out of the air by Brett Hodgson, and then Hodgson brings it away. Good follow-up tackle from Roby.
And that's what Nathan Brown will be wanting. He'll be wanting his fullback and his captain and his leader, Brett Hodgson, to be catching that ball on the full, looking up and playing directly what's in front of him.
Are the Giants just going to step it up a bit here now?
I think they just need to stay in the arm wrestle. The longer this games go on, these kind of games go on, the more liable an individual is to try a crazy offload or try and fix things up himself. It's the team that keeps its composure.
Here is Fulton. Oh, Fulton's pass almost hit the deck. And well taken by Lane Patrick, because that could have got ugly. Crossfield kick. Oh, and Hodgson very nearly on the end of it. Gardner was just ball watching at that time, and Hodgson reacted the quicker.
Hodgson again, putting it to the corner, but it's David Hodgson who just loses control of that ball. But again, he's starting to get a bit of confidence, Huddersfield, now, because defensively they've stepped up to the mark. Here's the ball. Look at the tape by Lane Patrick there. He had Wilkin putting pressure on him, but he just concentrated on that ball in front of him.
Go. Come on, Danny.
Shot.
That's a great shot, and they've come up with the ball at the Giants, and there's back slaps all around, and you just get the feeling that this could be a crucial phase of the game for the Giants.
And that is the mistake that they've been hunting. Lane Patrick it was who caught the ball on the other side. He really got his shoulder into that on James Roby. They forced the error, they're building in confidence. Can Huddersfield get over the try line?
Lane Patrick with the shot. He had some experience playing for the Narrabeen Sharks in Manly, lovely part of the world. It's helped his development. He's only just come on the field and he's made an impact. That's him playing the ball. But that's good defence.
They keep coming right down, back down the ruck, whether they're trying to tie defenders up as they go wide.
Fatawira finds Lawrence. Lawrence trying to skip away from Tony Puliatua. He makes the tackle. And the Giants supporters, who are congregating at that end of the ground that the Giants are attacking, urging the team on, and great travelling support for Huddersfield as well. That too a sign of the times. Brett Hodgson now. Hodgson finds Fulton. Fulton a little kick ahead. And Saints managed to deal with it. Melly goes down.
Oh, Sculthorpe was late then. What can Huddersfield do? Look at the line speed. Great impact.
Here's James Graham. They've got Saints rattled here.
Now this was missing in the first half. They weren't getting off the line as quick and trying to dominate that ruck.
Roby now. Oof. Sculthorpe came in swinging high and he's been penalised.
And that's what we say, you've got to make sure you keep your focus. They're putting all kinds of pressure on. Sculthorpe just missed his eyebrows then. Straight over the top. Real relieving pressure.
That'll be infuriating for his coach because they just had Saints under a little bit of pressure at that end of the field.
Well, all the hard work that they've done, grinding down St Helens, putting the kicks to the corner, really working on the set of six, then it's a penalty like that that relieves all the pressure.
They've paid for their indiscipline before, they might be punished again here now. Here is Roby. Roby, straight up the middle, able to offload for Cunningham. Long now, Long, back, was looking for Eastman on his shoulder but couldn't get the pass away. Eastman would have been through then.
Kieran Cunningham starting to scheme at acting half-back. Watch him, assessing the situation, working out where he can go, gathering information.
The pass finds Flannery. Flannery could offload. Back to Price via Roby. Price still almost able to get it away. He was trying to connect with Wilkin, couldn't do so. Raleigh managed to stifle that. But here goes Flannery with the kick. Just too strong.
David Hodgson was aware of where the St Helens plays were. Flannery really has started. Well, you can see, look, they look up, they try and pull the Huddersfield defenders up. David Hodgson not taking any chances there, knows that ball's going dead. But that is St Helens at the best. Under pressure at one end, then they march the team down the other.
20 minutes this arm wrestle has lasted. Who will be the team that breaks? Lan Patrick just feeling the force there, grabbing his knee. Good offload.
Well, now they are away. It's Fulton and Fulton up the middle. Nobody could get to him in support. But Saints just slow to get back here. Needed to be a quicker play the ball, really. Fatuira, Lawrence has Hodgson outside him, but couldn't get the pass to him. Long with the tackle. Fatuira now. Here is Brett Hodgson. Hodgson, Robinson has lost the ball. Pulitua drops on it, and another Giants tackle comes to nothing. And the coach cannot believe what he's seeing. They've not had that many opportunities in this game. They've really got to make the most of what they get.
A poorly timed run from Fulton there. Robinson knew exactly what he wanted from his teammate, and he'd overrun the play, and Robinson had to pass the ball. They lost possession. Encouraging signs though for Huddersfield. Neck and neck for this second half.
Well, look at Maury Fasavalo, and there's Lan Patrick disappearing down the tunnel. That's a bad sight for the Huddersfield Giants. They've already got a number of players on the sideline injured. Long's lost that one. Good tackle that was by Michael Lawrence.
Good tackle by Lawrence then. Cunningham offloading the ball. Is there a problem with Cunningham in the background?
Picking some casualties up in this game. Forceful run. And Cunningham's just on the floor there. Just struggling a little bit there, Kieran Cunningham.
Fatuira's pass it was to Finnegan. Here is Brett Hodgson again, and Saints really making sure that the threat is minimised from Brett Hodgson. Aspinwall. That's the fifth tackle as he plays the ball. Robinson hoists a high one. Gardner is underneath it. Long with a good shepherding job. Just a bit too good.
Yeah, I was going to say Sean Long done a good job there, but he took David Hodgson out. He escorted him off so he couldn't challenge for that ball. That's why the penalty's been awarded to Huddersfield.
A tactic used by every team in Super League. Sean Long at the bottom of your screen. You'll just see him nudge Hodgson out of the way and doesn't allow him to contest that ball while it's in the air.
So this is a great opportunity for the Giants now.
First, move line. Go.
5 tackles to go. Penalties all square at 8 apiece.
2, move.
And they've got Saints camped on their own try line, but can they make something of this? Still tryless so far here this evening in this playoff showdown between these two. And Saints again defending strongly. Leon Price with the tackle that time. 4 tackles gone. The Giants supporters not liking that one on Aspinwall. Here is Robinson. Fulton again. Good defence up the middle. That's the 5th. Can Saints survive this onslaught? Not a good pass. Fatuira picks it up, drifts one ahead, and it's gobbled up by Sean Long. He did well there. Didn't know a lot about that. And Nathan Brown knows another opportunity has gone begging.
Who would be a coach? See Fatuira puts that ball through, tries to get it behind Sean Long. Sean Long does ever so well to gather that in. But again, there's a real lift in this second half by Huddersfield. They're starting to back themselves, starting to get a bit of self-belief back in the tank.
There's a big difference between the two teams, Tez. Saints are continually testing Huddersfield, and when Huddersfield have chances, they're failing to take him.
Francis Melly try scorer in the first half, and those tries just seem a distant age ago, don't they, since Saints scored those 3 tries. Nothing since then in this game.
No, and you can't stand back and let St Helens make the plays, because they're so dangerous. From dummy half, they've got on the fringes, they've got so much speed. In the middle of the park, they've got so much power.
2, move.
Andy Raleigh plays the ball just inside his own half. Daryl Griffin snatching at that one, almost drifted away from him.
3rd, move. Hold, go.
Here's Earl Crabtree.
4, move. Go.
Robinson. Hodgson now. Hodgson. The pass again is stray, and it's picked up by Leroy Cutcho. There's a Giants player flat out in back play, taken out off the ball. I think it was Finnegan. No, it's Wilde, I beg your pardon.
It's Stephen Wilde. Francis Melly thought that Wilde was getting the ball. If he would have done, he'd have knocked him into next week.
High kick comes down for Flannery, who was offside. He didn't know a lot about it, but he was offside.
And there again, the high kick goes up. Huddersfield players putting pressure on. They're asking so many questions. You can see 3 players challenging for that ball, but the ball comes forward off Gardner. And again, Huddersfield on the attack.
The Giants fans at that end of the ground urging their team on, and Robinson trying to poach one.
On the line, no,
He's just clawed back by Cunningham and Roby, but they're right on the line of Saints. Here's Fulton now. Crabtree just had to pause as he took that pass, was hoping to hit it at pace, couldn't do so. Great offload from Crabtree, finds Fulton. And again the Saints cover comes across. Fassivelu it was that time. Change of direction. Here is Daryl Griffin now.
Heroic defence from Saints, heroic defence.
Robinson very quickly closed down by Cunningham, and that's great work from Cunningham. And I think he might even have got the ball. Aspinwall and him wrestling for it.
The referee's going to have to sort it out. I think you're right, Bill.
No, Aspinwall gets up with it, but Nathan Brown really is going through the agonies there. Here is Hodgson now. Hodgson thumps a kick, and that's much too strong. This stifling Saints defence just not allowing Nathan Brown's team to make any progress.
There's too much weight on that kick from David Hodgson then. But you've got to say, St Helens' defence, especially on the try line, has been superb tonight.
And as we mentioned, their experience in this competition, with David Hodgson's kick, their experience in this competition and this part of the year, they know that it's about that extra effort, that commitment in defence, not just when you've got the ball, that commitment in defence. There might not be another week.
Gilmore bursting onto that pass. All those points coming in the first quarter of the game. There hasn't been a point scored since then. Can Saints do something about that now? Maury Fassivelu with a ferocious handoff which left Lawrence on the ground, but Fassivelu then in his eagerness to get to his feet to play the ball loses it.
He got carried away. Look at that for the handoff on Lawrence. Get out of the way. Tries to regather that ball, loses possession. You can see that Fatuira is very happy there. Ref, he's lost the ball. Lawrence is still trying to pick himself up in the background.
Let's keep going, lads. Keep going.
Saints really have managed to keep the Giants at bay so far. And now, for the first time in some time, hoping to put a bit of pressure on the Giants' defence. It's the Giants in possession at the moment, though, with Crabtree.
Move! Go.
Here's Daryl Griffin. Griffin finds Andy Raleigh.
Third.
3 tackles gone. It's been a big effort from the Giants in the last 15 minutes or so as Griffin bounces off Wilkin.
4.
Just inside the Saints half now, and Daryl Griffin
Go.
gets to his feet. Here is Hodgson. Hodgson
Outside.
kicks over the top. Wild is chasing this. Melly goes back, and Melly turns and then gets away from the first chaser, who was Wild, but the followers catch Melly.
He done well there. He was aware Stephen Wild was coming up. He was putting pressure on. But again, big Earl Crabtree. You can see Kyle Eastman in the background really struggling there. Seems to have a problem. Oh!
Gilmore. Well, he's joining the Giants next season, but in the meantime, there is no love lost between the two sides, between him and his future teammates. Gardner, just for a moment, he looked upfield and thought he was clear, but Lawrence makes the tackle. Fatawira over the top.
That's where Saints trouble Huddersfield. As soon as they go wide, they can find the gaps. They go forward first of all, and then look for the spaces out wide.
14-2, still the scoreline here in favour of St Helens.
He's got one down. He's got one down.
And good defence, driving Leroy Cudjoe back there.
And again, 70 minutes nearly on the clock now, and they've still got the energy in the tank to do that.
Hold, James.
There's some pretty weary players out there on both sides. Paul Fatawira just catching his breath a moment ago. Kieran Cunningham gets back in the line very slowly. It's been a big effort from St Helens defensively. Griffin, Hodgson's pass goes behind. Wild is onto it, but Price is onto him. Wild gets it away to Hodgson. Eastman gets a hold of Hodgson. They're defending well this far up the field as well. Robinson steps out of trouble, but the kick is going to bounce for Gardner, and Gardner gets there in the end, but Lawrence fancied his chances for a moment.
Oh, he had to be brave there. Lawrence really was putting the pressure on. You can see him goes down. Oof, Lawrence just pulls out the last thing.
Here is Roby. This ever-present on the bench, it seems, for St Helens. Play on still in 2007, and play continues with Flannery.
That ball came loose in the tackle. The referee said play on. Huddersfield need to be careful.
Graham, another Saints try now, and that surely would be it. You wouldn't put it past a comeback from the Giants still. With 9 minutes on the clock, Saints have done it to sides, but Long will go for 1 point. He's tried twice. Will he succeed this time? He has. Not the most elegant of kicks, but they all count, and Sean Long, if at first you don't succeed, try, and then try again.
And big Danny Schoolford, the number 33 from Huddersfield, got out, tried to put pressure on. But Sean Long doesn't feel the pressure, just slotted that one over on his third attempt. That could be a vital score.
I think that will please Saints, and they'll realise that there's a fair bit of distance between both teams. But I think Huddersfield, if they can take advantage of the pressure that they keep putting Saints on, I think they've got to come away with a try at some point tonight.
I think they've got to go short here. If there's anyone on the pitch that can jump for the ball, it's big Earl Crabtree. You can see him at the bottom of the screen there, the big number 8. He's having a little look up. Gardner's in front of him, Flannery's in front of him, and he's about 2 feet bigger than both of them.
Needed a rest.
Richard Silverwood just telling the Giants players he needed a rest. I think he needed his audio equipment adjusting, which has been done. And it is Crabtree who got it back, and it was Cunningham who knew exactly where that ball was going to go.
And his Huddersfield teammates had to read that play better, because they knew that Big Earl was going to jump up for that ball. He was going to pat it back. The only person who read that play was Kieran Cunningham.
Go.
Saints then heading for a week off in this new playoff structure. Leeds successful last night, and it looks as though it'll be Saints who will succeed in this second game tonight. They get the week off.
Huddersfield trying to control and restrict Saints, Tony Pulitua, who's had a big, strong game and commanded attention. That's two big men trying to get him down and slow him down to the pace they require.
Still to come this evening. Wakefield Trinity Wildcats against Catalan in the third game. That's 5th versus 8th. That follows this game, which is nearing its conclusion, and it looks like being a win for St Helens here. Especially if James Roby can pinch one, but Roby is held up.
Good defence again by Huddersfield on the line. James Roby was sniffing that try. You could see that he was looking for that quick play the ball. It was Liam Fulton that held him up.
Here's Pulitua again. Third scorer of that early try for this Saints side. 15-2 ahead they are. Graham. Roby this time. Roby again is denied. Shot.
And again it was Fulton.
Let go, let go. Go.
James Roby hasn't scored a try for Saints since the victory over Bradford back in June. Crossfield kick. Gardner climbs for it. And just run out of space. Well, the athleticism was superb from Aidy Gardner, but he didn't have any room to manoeuvre there.
Aidy Gardner, he has to catch this ball above his head. A technique probably brought to the country by Pat Richards. Superb catch. I know one person that will be pleased, a good friend of mine and Tez's, St Helens fan Barbara, who we think's celebrating her 21st. But probably closer to her 77th though.
The Giants in possession. The clock counting down against them. They're going to be in action next week by the look of things.
But the confidence that Huddersfield will get from this second half performance, if they were to meet St Helens again. The first half they started slow. St Helens started really strong out the blocks in that first 20 minutes. The speed off the line which they had, the players in motion, that's what really hurt Huddersfield. But Huddersfield have got back into the game.
Hold! Go!
Robinson in a bit of discomfort there. This is the second of the playoff games. Wakefield against Catalan to come. And then Wigan against Castleford tomorrow evening on Sky Sports. After which there'll be a full and detailed explanation from Eddie and Stevo as to what happens next week.
Paul Clough's been outstanding in this game and in his defence. Unfortunately, on that occasion, he's been penalised, but the amount of times that he's come in, hurried and hustled and put pressure on Huddersfield. And the thing that's really impressed me with Saints tonight is their ability to flop and put Huddersfield, when they've had the ball, they've ended up at some point on the back and being as slow as they can. Mick Potter must have worked really hard with them during the week. It's been a real strength for them tonight.
Looks like being a third win of the season for Saints against the Giants. They've beaten them twice in Super League. The only blemish was that semi-final defeat, but this is looking like being a big win for Saints. And again, it's been hard work for them.
Just have a look
Aspinall
at that
run into that tackle.
The way that Saints are trying to put their opposition on the back, no matter whether they wanted to or not, that's been a big difference between both sides.
Roby with the tackle.
Go, keep on Leon!
Hodgson again, well, he was trying to create something, but the ball slipped away from his grasp and it's ended up in the hands of Carl Eastman.
He was looking to set Big Earl Crabtree free up the middle of that ruck. The ball just got out of his grasp. But again, they're still trying to be inventive. You can see he gets the ball. He's looking for that inside play. He dummies it, and then he loses it.
Two tackles gone in this set of six. Price, try scorer in the first half. Couldn't get the pass away. Roby now. Used to life on the bench, James Roby, just 4 starts so far this season. Hodgson gets away from Eastman's tackle. And then puts one of his teammates under pressure. Finnegan it was.
I'm not sure Simon Finnegan appreciated that pass on his line. Sometimes you have to take bad passes and bad jobs and just crack on with it. And Huddersfield's commitment in this second half has been outstanding. It may well have been a different story if we'd have had the first 40 minutes like this.
Well, the weight of history has been against Huddersfield tonight. They've suffered 14 consecutive defeats at this ground. Number 15 on the way, Danny Sculthorpe, the frustration beginning to boil over for him.
He's starting to get a bit rattled, isn't he?
And the crowd enjoying that. Danny, the brother of Paul, such a great servant to this club.
Little chip ahead. Well, Cudjoe pats it back in field, but half-hearted gesture really there.
But again, going forward. Again, looking for the play, looking to try and set the winger away. Cudjoe taps the ball back. Stephen Wild didn't even make an attempt for it because he knew that ball went forward.
Do you think, Tez, if Cudjoe had caught that ball on the full, do you think he had a chance then if he'd have caught it on the full? We see so many players allowing the ball to bounce. Sometimes if you make that commitment to catch it on the full, you can have a crack.
Saints aiming for another Old Trafford appearance. These playoff ever-presents, they know the score, they know the route to Old Trafford. They don't need a sat-nav. And here comes Sean Long and their playoff campaign getting off to an impressive start.
But again, they're just all on the boil, aren't they, St Helens? They're all pushing up in support. Look at that, Leon Price has got 4 players he can pick from. It's very hard to defend, especially when you're defending your own line. Penalties awarded here.
That's a shame from Paul Wellens. He gets his arm free and just offloads that ball just a split second.
Pass the ball.
Just too late by a midge's ear. He's in contact here. Couple of seconds.
That's a short 10.
Well, Huddersfield will have to plan for next week.
Let's go.
Their game against
First. Move.
the winners of the Wakefield Catalan game. Nathan Brown will have to turn his thoughts to that. I wonder how many of his injured players he'll have back. Certainly Kevin Brown and Danny Kerman's probably ruled out. Whether Jamal Lanesi and Fayumu might feature, and of course the band 2, Moore and Mason will be available again. Here's Crabtree. And they could have done. You need your big players for a game like this. Saints have had them. They've had virtually their strongest lineup available here tonight, and that's what you need at this stage of the season.
You do, and you need some confidence. And both of these teams, one, they've gone into the game thinking that if we get beat, we still got another chance. As the forward pass goes there again, but you want to be going in to the playoffs full of confidence. Hodgson looks for that long ball, and again it goes forward to Cudjoe.
Tom Brady passed that one.
Time off. John.
Well, Brett Hodgson, such a key figure for this Huddersfield Giants side, but he really hasn't had an opportunity to shine, and Saints have done a really good job on him. John Wilkin in the wars, and Saints won't come out of this game unscathed because there's no sign of Matt Gidley returning. He picked up a knock, but they will have a rest.
But why would you put him back? The game's wrapped up now. Got a big job in hand. It's a really important month, the most important month, without stating the obvious, and you need all your horses healthy. That guy with the ball has had an outstanding game.
Oh, and that's not an outstanding pass. But the hooter sounding to signal a satisfying start to the St Helens playoff campaign. Frustrating one for Nathan Brown and his team. They've had the opportunities, and a grim-faced Giants coach. But St Helens, well, they are the seasoned playoff campaigners, and they've taken the chances when they came their way, and they all came their way in that first quarter. We haven't had points scored since the 21st minute of this game. Since then, the Giants have got back into the game. They've been hammering away at this Saints defence, but the Saints defence stood firm, and they've seen their way to victory by 15 points to 2.
So just the 1 point in that second half, and that result means that we are on course for a third successive Leeds and St Helens grand final. They cannot meet now before Old Trafford because Leeds and Saints go in opposite sides of the draw from here on in. St Helens, like Leeds, will have next week off, and then they both come back the week after. Leeds will have the choice, and they won't be able to pick St Helens. 15 points to 2, the final score. And there was only 1 point in the second half. It was a Sean Long drop goal, but there was some pressure, Steve-O, from Huddersfield on that Saints line.